Gosh, I hate stories like this. A 43-year-old perverted soccer coach kills a 13-year-old boy in California. And according to law enforcement sources, this guy was in the country illegally. He has a history of being around young boys. We'll play the story here of what happened with this 13-year-old boy, and then we'll play some other victims, what they have to say about this pervert, and as well as neighbors, former neighbors, saying this guy likes to be around young boys. Let's check it out.
Fox's Bill Mallusion has been looking into the background of the youth soccer coach accused of killing one of his players.
A harrowing sight in Southern California as the body of a murdered 13-year-old boy is found dumped along the side of a road. His name was Oscar Omar Hernandez, and police say he was killed by his youth soccer coach, 43-year-old Mario Edgardo Garcia Aquino. Multiple law enforcement sources tell Fox News he is an illegal alien from El Salvador.
Why did he have to kill him? The pain of losing a child is so great. I would never wish it on anyone.
Police say on March 28th, Hernandez took a train to see Garcia Aquino, but never returned. His family reported him missing 2 days.
And we'll get to in a little bit of why he went out to see him. Keep going.
Days later, and his body was found 5 days after that. The Los Angeles County District Attorney announced murder charges against Garcia Aquino Monday with a special allegation of murder during the commission of lewd acts with a child, making him eligible for the death penalty.
Our role, though, is to bring justice to this family and to hold the person responsible for these brutal, heinous, unspeakable, unthinkable acts.
But the Los Angeles County Sheriff admitted this isn't the first time that Garcia Aquino has been on law enforcement's radar.
In February of 2024, Garcia Aquino befriended a Sylmar family who allowed their juvenile son to stay with him at his residence in Palmdale. The family...
That's a big mistake right there in itself on the parents' part.
Subsequently filed a criminal report alleging sexual abuse of their child.
But no action was taken at the time. No arrests, no charges. If it had been, Hernandez's sibling says his little brother may still be alive.
The police also knew that he had committed another crime. I still can't believe what happened to my brother.
And on top of murder, the DA is now charging Garcia Aquino with that separate sexual abuse of the other teenage boy, more than a year after it was first reported to police. In a statement to Fox News, DHS is calling Garcia Aquino a, quote, depraved illegal alien who should have never been in this country. Reporting in Los Angeles.
Absolutely right. Now we're getting to what somebody who used to live next door to this creep had to say about him. Check this out.
Yes, I'm coming to you from a local park here in North Hollywood. Whitsett Park, it's where Oscar Omar Hernandez used to come and play soccer. And it's a place where you can even see other kids as school is getting out, coming out and practicing. And now that a youth soccer coach, Oscar Omar's coach, is accused of being behind what happened to him, people who knew that coach and who come to practice here are trying to understand how something like this could happen.
I don't know, I just had this gut feeling.
Jasmine Martinez says she always felt something was not quite right with her former neighbor. She felt he made up excuses to visit her and her children.
Most of the time he was always trying to be around children.
Still, nothing prepared her for what she saw last night on the news. Maria Garcia Aquino arrested, accused of killing and committing or attempting to commit lewd acts on a boy he coached. Oscar Omar Hernandez, a 13-year-old, his family and friends described as sweet and easygoing. The 43-year-old is also accused of 2 other incidents of sexually abusing children in 2022 and 2024.
He used to bring children in the front and he used to have them playing soccer.
Martinez says Garcia was her neighbor in 2021. She last saw him around 2023.
He did have a few boys around here. It was around 7, 8 boys he used to always bring in the front yard, and he used to have them inside.
But said she never witnessed anything that made her suspect the boys are being mistreated.
He was just always shouting all the time, always slamming things inside.
Oscar Omar's family members say March 28th, the 13-year-old went to Garcia Aquino's home in Lancaster because he thought he'd be paid for odd jobs. 5 days later, the boy was found dead in Oxnard.
There it is right there. He went to the man's house because this guy lured him in by saying, I'm going to pay you to do some work around the house or whatever it is. And he ended up dead. This guy is just a predator. He's been a predator for a long time. Having young kids, young boys playing around his house, playing soccer coach, and it just goes to show you never know what people's real intentions are. This guy had no business being a soccer coach. He is a pervert, and he belongs in prison for the rest of his life, and he's facing the death penalty. So that's good. But this should never happen. Keep going.
The family tells NBC4 they did have reservations about Oscar Omar staying with Aquino, but there was some level of trust. They tell us he was his coach with the Urucan Valley Soccer Club, according to the LA County Sheriff Robert Luna.
Garcia Aquino was a youth travel soccer coach with the Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club in the Sylmar area.
Whitsett Park is one of the places Oscar Omar used to practice.
Why would someone do that to a little kid?
Now even kids and families who don't know him are shocked and worried.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible. I'm afraid. I think after I find out on the news, I gonna be more aware to him when he comes.
Now, there are a lot of developments in this story, and it's being watched. Well, even though it's being prosecuted locally, it is going to be watched on the federal level. We have federal authorities from different departments weighing in, including the U.S. Attorney's Office, who issued a statement saying, in part, this was an avoidable crime and a result of failed border policies. We cannot and will not tolerate illegal aliens who flout our nation's immigration laws, then prey on children. Federal law enforcement will continue to be very aggressive in locating, apprehending, and prosecuting criminal illegal aliens. And this amplifies reports that NBC4 is trying to confirm about whether or not Garcia Aquino was in the country legally. Reporting.
Wow, unbelievable stuff right there. Now, this next story I'm going to play is pretty disturbing when you hear the details. A teenager breaks his silence on his sexual assault case with this scumbag, with this perverted soccer coach. This is scary, but look. This young man is brave. Check it out.
Tonight at 6 with a one-on-one interview with a boy who says he was sexually assaulted by a local youth soccer coach. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Bradley. That coach was arrested for the murder of a 13-year-old boy last week. Mario Garcia Aquino was also charged with sexually assaulting at least 2 teenagers in 2022 and 2024. And police say there may be more victims. NBC4's Karma Dickinson live with an exclusive interview with that boy who says he was one of them. Karma?
Well, yes, more than a year before youth soccer coach Mario Aquino Garcia was arrested for the murder and sexual abuse of a North Hollywood child, another teenager had sounded the alarm about the same coach. That teen shared a story with us, but we do want to warn you this report contains some graphic and disturbing details. When Oscar Omar Hernandez was found murdered in Oxnard April 2nd, allegedly at the hands of his soccer coach, many were left asking how this was allowed to happen. No one more so than this young man.
I thought it could have been me. I thought, why couldn't the police do anything about my case? And they just left it open. And then they had to get to a teenage boy getting killed. I had to get to that point.
Speaking with the permission of his mother, the San Fernando Valley teen, who's asking us to call him John, also wanted us to alter his voice and not show his face to protect his privacy because of what he's about to share. He's 17 now, but he was 15 when he says he met Mario Garcia Aquino.
Like, he would buy us food, drinks.
John says Garcia Aquino was also his soccer coach. He says the man befriended kids on the team, and he became close with them. That's when John was having hard times with his family, and he says
this guy didn't like playing soccer. He wasn't doing this to just help out the youth and do something commendable. He was doing this to prey on these young boys.
Garcia Aquino offered him work, and at age 16, he went to live with Garcia Aquino and his son, first in Sylmar, then in Palmdale. He says the coach offered him drinks, but he never thought much of it.
It was an orange juice, and it made me feel tired after a while. Sleepy tired.
NBC has not verified what, if anything, was in those drinks.
But in February of 2024, about a year and a half after moving in with Garcia Aquino, John says he woke up to find the coach
pulling down my shorts, and I woke up, I punched him.
Wow.
And then he told me it was all a joke.
He was 16 at the time, and he says it happened again.
I go to sleep.
Great job in this young man for defending himself, punching him in the face when he feels something's not right.
I see him like trying to pull down my shorts again, and it was like 1 a.m, so I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I saw my shorts backwards. I'm freaked out right now. How do you expect me to act?
John called 911 and his mother. This is video of that day, February 24th, 2024, when LA County Sheriff's deputies came to the home. John says Garcia Aquino had run away. The sheriff's deputies sent John to the hospital. He showed us the discharge paperwork showing the emergency room doctor diagnosis of sexual assault of an adolescent, positive urine screen for an unspecified drug, and toxic encephalopathy, meaning an impaired brain function. But John says he's unaware of the law enforcement investigation going any further than that.
They called me speaking about it, but they just said that it was most likely going to be an open case.
Authorities eventually arrested Garcia Aquino for this crime, but they did so just last week, more than 1 year after John reported the assault. A year in which the 43-year-old Garcia Aquino continued to coach boys soccer. The assault arrest also came after Aquino was already questioned in Oscar Omar Hernandez's disappearance. The 13-year-old had gone to visit Garcia Aquino at his home and was found dead 5 days later.
When what happens, it feels like I got ignored. Like if I wasn't a human being, that doesn't sit right with me. What if I'm not here right now?
Yep.
I could have been that 13-year-old boy.
And NBC4 continues to push for answers from the LA County Sheriff's Department about those cases. Today, they declined to comment on any of the aspects of the timeline of this investigation, saying it has been forwarded to the district attorney's office. Tuesday, though, the DA's office told NBC4 that the 2024 assault case was under investigation until March 25th of this year. That's about a week before Oscar Omar Hernandez was found dead. Garcia Aquino is now charged with the death of Hernandez, the assault of John in 2024, and with another sexual assault of a minor in 2022. That charged just last week.
Wow, that's crazy stuff right there. That is absolute insanity. This guy was able to be out on the streets, continuing his heinous acts against young boys. After the first time in 2022, for one, he shouldn't have been in the country. That's first and foremost. But the fact that he remained on the streets, what boggles my mind. That baffles me. And that young man right there was very brave. He defended himself. You know, look, he was vulnerable. He's 15 at the time. You can't really blame him for, he trusted this guy. He trusted this soccer coach. And this is his MO. Oh, I'll offer you some money to do some work. Come stay with me. You build that trust, and then these young boys, they feel comfortable with you. You go out there and gives you some orange juice, and you feel tired, and this guy is on top of you in the middle of the night. Good job on punching him in the face. And then calling the cops after this happened a second time in the same night. And calling your mother. Great job, young man. You're very, very smart and brave to speak out and to defend yourself like that against this scumbag. But a whole year went by, and that led to another case, an even worse situation, because he was murdered. I mean, I can only imagine what that young boy is going through. The one that we just saw, he's going to have to deal with this for a long time. The trauma of dealing with that in the first place, and then knowing somebody else was killed because of this man, and the neighbor, the former neighbor, knew something was wrong with this guy. Look, a lot of times if your gut is telling you something's wrong with this person, then it might be. I know a woman who was with her friend or something. He was getting a haircut, and there was a guy in the chair across, and she said something doesn't feel right about that guy across getting his haircut. She said something was off about him. gave her this very uneasy feeling. Maybe about a month or two later, this guy was on the run for allegedly murdering somebody in DFW. I think in Dallas he did it. So that's crazy. Just go to show you that your gut can tell you a lot of things, and you might be right about it. But it's tragic. It's a tragic story. And here's another one. If you have some time, bear with me. 14-year-old girl in North Carolina is kidnapped and raped by a depraved illegal alien who should have never been in the country. Okay, this is about less than a minute long, so check this out.
This morning at $3 million, but the Lee County Sheriff's Office says in the course of this investigation they learned Bustamante is not here legally, so he is also now being held on a federal detainer. Now the Sheriff's Office says they started investigating when a 14-year-old girl didn't come home from school yesterday. They learned Bustamante had picked her up and took her to a hotel here in Sanford. He is now charged with 2 counts of statutory rape, abduction of a child, felony conspiracy to commit abduction, and solicitation of a minor by a computer. We obtained the warrant in this case, and we have learned that Bustamante contacted this victim through Facebook. Now, the Sheriff's Office here says the SBI, Homeland Security, and the Broadway and Sanford Police Departments were all involved in this investigation. A judge set his bond this morning at $3 million, but the Lee County Sheriff's
Put it at 10 million. No bond. These scumbags don't have no right. They look. I can't say this enough to how disturbing that is. Yeah, but I wanted to share that with you because it is a very disturbing trend that you see with those 2 stories. Early 40s, men here in the country illegally, taking advantage of youth. It's scary stuff. So I'm going to leave that right there. It's sad. I don't want to hope you enjoyed this because it's scary. It's a sad story and it's terrifying. It's disgusting. But subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more stories like this. I cover the border a lot, so